KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, the sports leader.
Welcome into an extra inning post-game show on a Saturday night with Bill Lasky, and somehow, some way, the Giants lose again today. Boy, oh boy, just frustrating. 2 runs in the 8th inning after such a superb outing by Justin Verlander. The best I've ever seen him pitch this year. The length of it going through 7 innings. 88 pitches, 63 for strikes. That's the first part of it. 17 first pitch strikes out of 24 hitters, 17. 7 ground balls, 7 fly balls. The numbers were just fantastic for Justin Verlander. The fastball was there at 51 pitches. He got it up to about 96, average around 94. The sweeper, he had 10 of them. That was a really sharp sweeper, too. He had about 83 miles an hour. The slider was sharp, hitting the outside corner to right-handers. He threw 12 of those at 88 and 89. He also added 9 curveballs and 6 changeups. 88 pitches coming off the mound after 7 innings. And from the last out in the first inning to the hit he gave up in the 7th, 16 in a row. 16 outs in a row. You just question this. This is where I question what happened after the 7th inning. He had 88 pitches. He had the 7th, 8th, and 9th hitter coming up for Tampa Bay, and I say he threw 88 pitches. His last outing against Washington, he threw 101. Pittsburgh game before that, he threw 100. Pittsburgh game before that, 94. Atlanta before that, 98. The most he ever pitched was in March 15th against the Phillies. He threw 104 pitches. I just don't know if they took him out of the game, if he requested to come out of the game, but I just didn't feel that he was done yet. He had only thrown 9 pitches in the 7th inning to get out of it. He threw 8 in the 6th, 9 in the 5th. He threw 20 in the first inning. That was the most he threw in the entire game. 12, 15, 15, 9, 8, and 9. Just a superb pitching. Getting ahead of hitters, throwing strikes. And he had a 1-0 lead. The 6th time this year that he left the game with the lead, and the bullpen blew it. 6 times. That was his 21st start. So you start thinking, why? Why did he come out of the game? Did they take him out of the game to go to the bullpen? Was he done? Did he say he was done? I really want to know the post-game remark on that, because I didn't think he was done. I thought he would at least go out in the 8th inning at 88 pitches, and if there comes a hitter to get a hit or a walk, and then you kind of think about it from there and adjust. But I wasn't so sure of why he came out of that game, and that's my opinion. That's just my opinion. 88 pitches, and I thought he was throwing really well. And then Budo comes in, and he gives up the first 2 outs on 2 pitches, and they were 2 fastballs. Then he threw his first slider 0-1 and hits the batter. And from there on, the Tampa Bay Rays just opened the door in putting the ball in play. And this is what they do so well. 3 opposite field base hits, 3 of them in a row. One was a 3-1 count, one was a 3-2 count, but they put the ball in play and made contact, and they end up winning this game 2-1. A frustrating game, no question. The Giants, again, had troubles scoring, the troubles with hitting. And we look at Ramos and Devers yesterday on the post-game show. They came up 10 times, and I had talked about this. 7 times they struck out yesterday. Today they came up 8 times, and they struck out 5 times. So I really would love to see Jung-Hoo Lee back in the leadoff spot, something else besides these 2 at the top of the order, because it's just not gelling. They're just not getting enough contact up there. So you start questioning this. Why? Because, well, they got a 7-game losing streak for one reason. 7 consecutive series they've lost at Oracle Park. 15 out of 16 games at Oracle Park. 1-run games, they're 23-23. So you look at this and you start thinking, should they start juggling this lineup up? Should they put Jung-Hoo Lee back in the leadoff spot? A right-hander tomorrow, Ryan Pepio's pitching, so maybe he will think of this, because Jung-Hoo Lee has really been hitting the ball well for the Giants. Unsung numbers, more or less, when you start looking at what he's done. Hit safely in 13 of his last 14 games, slashing over 335. Today, he goes 2 for 4. What an at-bat he had in the 9th inning off of Fairbanks. Just some good hitting from Jung-Hoo Lee. So we got to look at that. We got to see what they can do to mount better attack. Bob Melvin is set with Ramos leading off. I'd love to see Ramos move down. My opinion, once again, we've been talking about this for a while now. I think Jung-Hoo Lee needs to get an opportunity to get back in that leadoff spot, making contact. Forward bats really hit a ball well in that 6th inning to deep right center field. I think everybody in the ballpark thought it was off the wall. I mean, he couldn't have hit that ball any harder, and it was a great catch from the right fielder all the way going out there. So today, a frustrating game, and you look at Justin Verlander really putting his heart and soul in this game. Just a stop job, as I talk about with starting pitchers. You want to go out there, you want to get the losing streak off, and you pitch your tail off. Justin Verlander did that today. No walks, 8 strikeouts. So we talk about this. We talk about what's happening with this Giants team. Something's got to give. Something at this batting order's got to change. Some of these guys need to get better at bats. I'm Bill Lasky. This is the Extra Inning Post-Game Show, 415-808 KNBR. Let's get your thoughts on today's game, and what a performance by the 42-year-old Justin Verlander. We'll come back with more right here on KNBR, the sports leader. On the run, take a look at what Lenardi's has to offer. Lenardi's full-service deli offers a great selection of hot foods to go. Savory soups made fresh daily with quality ingredients, fried chicken, meatloaf, salads, sandwiches, and more. Check out Lenardi's weekly menu selection at www.lenardis.com or stop by one of Lenardi's markets, 8 convenient locations. Burlingame, San Bruno, Belmont, Los Gatos, 2 in San Jose, 1 on Bascom, 1 on Meridian, Walnut Creek, and Danville. Lenardi's, quite simply, the best.
You're listening to the former Giants righty. It's KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Lasky.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Heard on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR.
The pitch. That one is hit to right field. Moving back, McCray squares up, reaches up, makes a catch, and the side is retired. Well, who knows if that's it for Verlander. This has been his best start in a Giants uniform. Man, has he pitched well. And Giants fans are giving him a standing ovation as he walks off the field. Just a terrific job tonight for Verlander.
Back on the Extra Inning post-game show with Bill Lasky. Giants lose a tough one. Of course, Rays come up with 2 runs in the top of the 8th inning, and they beat the Giants 2-1. They're now 23-23 in one-run games. But this homestand has gotten worse. Once again, they lost 6 last time. Last homestand, now they're 1-7 with 1 more to go in this 9-game homestand. And the road is going to get tough. 4 games in San Diego, 3 against Milwaukee, and they have to find a way to win. So what are you going to do? You're going to take Logan Webb and put him on the mound tomorrow because he'll get that next start at 105. He's 10-9 with a 3.3 earned run average against Ryan Pepio, who's 8-9 with a 3.8 earned run average. The Giants got to figure out to get a win here. They'd have to. Today, really, it was Justin Verlander. What a show he put on. 16 outs in a row, and that was just perfection. Fastball was there. The breaking ball was there. His confidence was there. You could see it. He was just had a good rhythm going, putting the ball where he wanted. Best outing so far when you look at what Justin Verlander did through 7 innings. Just 2 hits, 1 in the first inning and 1 in the 7th inning. A very fine outing by Justin Verlander. 415-808 KNBR. Got a few lines on going on. Let's go out to Sam in San Leandro. Sam, you're on an Extra Inning post-game show. What's going on, my friend?
Oh, lots of good stuff, Bill. You know, basically, when you watch the Giants this year, you know, we take little victories, you know, and we can't have little victories. This team is this is the team we're watching that can't score, that can't win. Mm-hmm. What, 18-33 since the Devers trade? And so we have to get used to this. We act like, we need to find a win tomorrow. This is not going to change, Bill. This is going to go on for the next 5 to 6 years because of the contract.
Let me ask you something. Why do you bring Devers in? Why do you bring Devers into this? Because Devers, sure, he's making outs, but it's this whole team. It's the whole lineup. You can't just center because of Devers' trade in June. So let's just talk about this whole lineup and see what they did. They got 7 hits today, but nothing to matter of any kind of time of run display. You know, getting runners on, get them over. 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. That just doesn't hammer it.
Well, if you listen to the president of operations of the Red Sox, he said the Red Sox will win more games without Rafael Devers. So that's all you need to know. That's all you really need to know.
Do you think he's telling you the truth, or do you think he's backing the trade? That's why I always listen to that, because he's probably backing the trade, and that's why he's doing that. And the Red Sox are winning. This one person's not going to make a team. One person's not going to make a bad team. The Red Sox have been playing good, no question. But, Sam, you're asking me about Rafael Devers. Let's talk about what happened in this game today. Let's talk about what Justin Verlander did, what a perfection he did, how well he pitched. And then you could talk about the offense because they just couldn't get any runs across.
Well, that part is true, Bill. You know, Verlander having success for 7 innings here in August. But, you know, we signed here, Buster Posey signed him for $15 million. to do well in April, May, June, and July, not August, when he's already struggled the rest of the year. So the fact that he's even having a kumbaya moment here is ridiculous because he doesn't even belong here, never should have been here, and Buster Posey signing him is one of the biggest reasons why we ain't going to playoffs because he ain't good enough to be here. That team was taking it easy today. Don't, like John Wooden says, do not confuse activity for achievement. That was not achievement,
right.
Bill.
Okay, Sam. All right, Sam. Sam, this isn't
Sam.
Sam. I know who this is, Sam. It's John, and I know what you're coming from, John. So you changed your name on it. So I'm going to go to the next caller. Let's go to South City and talk to John. John, you're on an extra inning post-game show. How are you this evening?
Hey, Bill. I'm doing pretty well, man. How about yourself?
Well, it was a tough game. I mean, these are grinders, and what Justin Verlander did for 7 innings was perfection. He pitched his tail off.
Right.
And you look at what he did, John, and you look at a starting pitcher trying to go out there with the veteran leadership that he had, and he was out there to win that game. The question, and I threw earlier on my open, was he threw 88 pitches. I don't know why he got pulled. If he pulled himself, if Bob Meldon pulled him, that's what I'm trying to find out in the post-game remarks of why he didn't go back out there in the 8th inning.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Bill. I mean, I was a little shocked. I thought he was going to come back in the 8th inning, you know. He was pitching great. I mean,
He threw 9 pitches.
Yeah,
when you look at this, John, he threw 9 pitches in the 5th, 8 in the 6th, and 9 in the 7th. That was it, and he got out of innings clean. Some great defense behind him. Adames made a great play. Ramos goes from left field all the way down the left field line, make a great play. He had good defense behind him, and he was ahead of count. That's what I'm kind of finding out what happened, and that's why I researched how many pitches he threw, and his last 3 outings, over 100, 95, 98. I think he should have went out there for the 8th inning, and if something would have happened, maybe then pull him, but he had 7, 8, 9 up in the order, and none of those guys were even touching him. Absolutely.
Bill, I'm a little kind of worried now about the offense. I mean, 1 for 7 on runners or scoring positions today? That's not good.
Yeah, once again, 7 left on base, and they just can't drive a ball. They can't go opposite field. I mean, you look at Christian Koss going 2 for 4, Jung-Hoo Lee going 2 for 4. After that, it really nothing happened in the 7, 8, 9 hitters. They were 0 for 11. So things got to change. You got to get some guys to hit, and we just haven't seen that in this homestand.
You're absolutely right, Bill. I'm trying to stay positive. I'm going to give Buster some time. I get it.
Sure.
It's his first year working with Bob Melvin. Do you see any changes at all in the off? Any
well, the
changes at all,
off-season's
Bill?
too far ahead. Yeah, the off-season's too far ahead, John. I think the big question is are you going to see some younger players coming up and getting some opportunities here as we get into the latter part of August and the month of September? Are you going to see Bryce Eldridge come up at a 20-year-old getting an opportunity to play in the big leagues? You also have Blade Tidwell, who's been pitching dynamic. He came over in the Tyler Rogers trade. He's had 3 starts.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a 1.69 earned run average, really dealing down there. And matter of fact, tonight, later on in the show, I did an interview with him this past week, so you get to know a little bit about Blade Tidwell, but he has really good stuff. 98 to 100-mile-an-hour fastball, a good cutter, a slider, a slurve, and he might be that guy that fills in one of these starting spots to give him an opportunity.
I think if September comes, do you see him getting the call at this time, Bill, or is it just too early right now?
I just don't know what they're doing, and I don't think they're ready to make any decisions yet. They still feel that they're only 5 games out in the wild card. I don't know how that was going into today's game. I haven't looked at numbers yet on standings and where they feel they could fit. But, you can't look at wild cards. You can't look at anything. You got to win a game, and they have not done that. They won last Friday. And ever since then,
That's
they just they've been playing good baseball at times. Don't get me right. They've been playing some bad baseball, but tonight's game was a grinder, and I just commend Justin Verlander at what he did today.
Same here, Bill. Same here.
Well, we hope and we wish that Logan Webb goes out and does the same thing tomorrow and see if they can get a win, John. I'm right there with you. I'm right behind them. It's just tough baseball to watch. And as Giants fans, we're out there watching and grinding and hoping they win. And like I said earlier, somehow, some way, they find a way to lose. And that's kind of what it's been like, John. But thanks for the call. I appreciate your time. Let's go to Daniel. He's in Sacramento. You're on the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Lasky. What's going on, Daniel?
Bill, hey, usually I call you to cheer me up, but I've been thinking a lot about this team all through July and half of June. And, yeah, everyone likes to think about the trade bringing in Devers. And, yeah, there seemed to be a losing streak once he got traded, but I really don't think it's him at all. I think what's going on right now is that we have a championship level team here that has an invisible hand affecting them, and it's in their brains. I think it's in their mind, and it's affecting all of them. Devers is a brilliant hitter. Every so often he shows his ability. He has these off balance golf swings that ends up getting hit out of the park, and thinking this guy's got the ability to hit these balls that are about to hit the dirt, and they're going out the park. This guy can swing and he can aim. Lee is great once he realized he's not a home run hitter. Verlander is a great pitcher. It's just something's in their heads. And
I think they're stressing too much too. They're trying to have fun, and that's the big thing. Go out there and try to win and win a game. And I did the pregame show today, and I was saying, let's not worry about the losing streak. Let's not worry about losing series. You have to go out and compete to win. Just win a game. You win a game, all this kind of flushes behind you, and you can start a step from there. But just to win a game, and I keep saying this today, somehow, some way, they just somehow lose. And they lost again 2-1 on some great hitting by Tampa Bay. And going the opposite way 3 straight times, watching a ball come in a little late, and they make good contact. And that's why Tampa Bay's got 61 wins. They're fighting for a wild card position, and their team is kind of a mystery team. But, boy, they got some punch in this lineup.
Yeah, I agree. They have some punch, and they're everyone else who's in the bottom rung is trying to work their way to the wild card. I get that. I don't think it's in the Giants this season. They were there. They were tied for first with Dodgers. I had this huge optimism. They were going
June 13th.
Come out.
Yep, from the middle of June. It's just been clunkers from there, and even from the All-Star break, they're 7-19 from the All-Star break, and you figure once they lost those 2-3 of the Dodgers, you take that All-Star break and you go right into Toronto, and they got beat 3 straight times. And that was really a tough 3 punches right there to lead off right after the All-Star break, and it didn't get easier after that. They took 2 out of 3 from Atlanta, and then they came home, and they lost 6 in a row. So, they have had some bad waves going this way, but the wave right now is somehow, some way, they keep losing, and somehow, some way, they got to get back up in that box and score more runs, and they have not done that.
Like I told your producer, I said, sometimes writers have writer's block and they can't write.
It's true.
Golfer has a really
good point.
Bad day and can't swing. This is their writer's block or winner's block, as your producer said.
I like that. I really do. I think that's a key, and it just seems like it just stops every time. They get runners in scoring position, 1 for 7 today. Jung-Hoo Lee, what an at-bat he had against Fairbanks leading off the 9th inning. He has really come back to what we thought he could be in making contact. Daniel, you said he's not a home run hitter. He isn't a home run hitter, and I think he's finally gauged that he can just get on base, and he stole his 10th base today. That's the guy that needs to be in that leadoff spot, and bring everybody down one if you want to. But Jung-Hoo Lee needs to get back in that number 1 spot in the lineup.
Yeah, I was really optimistic when I saw him stealing. I mean, this guy said, come on, guys, let's win. Let's do this. I'm giving you an opportunity. And I thought, yeah, they're going to strike out. It's not going to happen. There was no energy in the bullpen.
And they did. They struck out 3 straight times after that. That was the tough one. Koss, Fitzgerald, and then Flores, 3 punch-outs as Fairbanks goes one inning, giving up one hit, and he strikes out 3. Sure, he's nasty. Over 95-mile-an-hour fastball. That curveball is just dynamic, but he's got 22 saves. He's one of the good arms out of that bullpen, but the Giants somehow, they got to get a win tomorrow with Logan Wood. But thanks for your call, Dan. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Let's go to Rich in Daly City. Rich, you're on the Next Inning postgame show on a Saturday night. Giants lose 2-1. They're now 59 and 64. What do you see in the forecast with the Giants?
I don't know. It's great to see Verlander pitching really good. What do you think about this guy, Rodriguez? I don't think he's a closer because there was a trade. They brought him in, and he blew it in the ninth. I think he's a middle inning pitcher. I don't think he should have been in the All-Star game. I think those should be reserved for starting pitchers and maybe closers.
Well, Rich, at the time before the All-Star game, he was fantastic. He'd only given up 1 or 2 earned runs, and he was in that 6th, 7th, 8th inning guy. He was that predecessor to get to Camilo Doval. And right now, he's a young, inexperienced closer. Sometimes you start thinking too much. Sometimes you just don't relax in the 9th inning. And that's something that he's going to have to get over with if he's going to be the closer. Too many things you start thinking. Too many times you aim the pitch. Yesterday, he hit the leadoff hitter with a slider in the arm. Today, Jose Butto did it also. And Butto's only second year in the big leagues. So these guys press when they go out there, and they're trying to make the perfect pitch. And sometimes that perfect pitch, you aim it instead of throwing it. And that's what happened to Butto today, and that's exactly what happened to Rodriguez yesterday.
What do you think now? Is the season over, or should they hang in there, or do you think they should
well, no, you hang in there. There's 39 games left. I mean, there's still a time to change it, but like I'm saying, you can't look at the forecast moving forward. You have to stop this losing streak. You got to get a win. Once you get a win, things could go your way, but a win is tough to do right now with the San Francisco Giants. They lost 7 in a row, and when you start looking at how they're playing at home, that's the tough part in front of your home crowd, and they've lost 15 out of 16. So think about being 1-15 at home. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Think of the ballpark. Seems like they have trouble. It seems like a tough ballpark to win in, to even hit or pitch in. Seems like they do better on the road or something like that.
Well, they were 12 games over 500. They were winning at home. They had one of the best records in home, and when it was in the middle of June when they were winning so much. But lately, they just can't score and they can't get wins. They're 29 and 33 now at home, and the numbers just keep going south on them. So, Rich, we got to find out how they can make a change, get a win, and see what this order can do. See if these guys can start hitting the ball a little bit better. We're hoping, we're wishing, we're looking, and we're stymied because they just can't score runs. And that's the hard part, especially when you get an outing like Justin Verlander that should have had a win today with the outing he had. So we'll find out, Rich, but never give up. You never give up on your home team. It doesn't matter how bad they play. You just got to keep grinding with them, and hopefully they'll win a game. Thanks, Rich. Thanks for your call. All right, we're going to take a quick break on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. Have about 5 calls up on the board. I'll get right back to you. 415-808-KNBR if you want to get on the line and talk to me about this game as well as the Giants. As I said earlier, I got a great interview coming up with Blade Tidwell. Of course, he came over in a trade with Tyler Rogers with Jose Butto and Drew Gilbert, and we'll find out a little bit more about him later in the show as he and I kind of talk about where he came from, how he's throwing. But today he threw another gem for the River Cats. 3 games he's pitched for River Cats, and he's got a 1.69 earned run average. So hopefully he'll continue, and maybe he'll be in the orange and black sooner than we think. I'm Bill Lasky. This is the Extra Inning Postgame Show. More coming up right here on the Sports Leader.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with former Giants right-hander Bill Lasky.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Hear him on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR. Play KNBR.
Now there's a curve. Strike 3 call. Strikeout number 7 for Verlander. He made short work of Kim. Big curve that buckled the knees of Kim and dropped right in there. Justin Verlander, who moved ahead on the all-time list, by the way, past Hall of Famer Walter Johnson on the all-time strikeout list with that one. And you hear the fans giving him an ovation for that. Put that up on the board.
All right, back on the extra inning post-game show with Bill Lasky. Giants lose a tough one, 2-1. 2 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error for the Rays. 1 run, 7 hits, 1 error for the Giants. The Giants now are 59-64 in a dreaded 7-game losing streak. And you look at Oracle Park, they're 1-7 on a 9-game homestand, and they've lost 15 out of 16. They're 1-15 at Oracle Park, and they look for Logan Webb tomorrow to see if they can get a win from the right-hander. The 28-year-old's 10-9 with a 3.34 earned run average. He's thrown 153 and 2/3 innings, struck out 168 already with 35 walks. So we'll see what Logan Webb does. First pitch tomorrow at 1:05 going against Ryan Pepio, another right-hander, 27 years old, 8-9 with a 3.86 earned run average. His last 2 outings, he won against the Athletics and the LA Angels. Both of those games going 5 2/3 and 6 1/3, giving up 4 earned runs and 2 earned runs. So we'll find out if the Giants can do some damage tomorrow and at least get a win before they hit the road, where they play the San Diego Padres for 4 and the Milwaukee Brewers for 3. Let's get back on the phone lines, 415-808-KNBR. Let's go to Chef Kobe. He's leaving the ball game. What'd you see today, Chef Kobe?
Well, what I saw, hey, Bill, thanks for taking my call, man. I'm a big fan of your show, but what I saw today, it felt like Groundhog Day, man. It's like every single time I watch a ball game, it's the same thing over and over again. And part of that is, to me, what I'm saying, I couldn't agree with you more about Jung Ho Lee. He needs to be at least shuffle up that lineup. You keep putting the same lineup out there and expect a different result. It's ridiculous. And I'm sorry. He might be a great kid and he might have a lot of talent, but McRae is not a big leaguer. Not yet, anyway.
And boy, he hasn't showed anything since he's been up too. He was 2 for 17 going into today, and he punched out twice and he hit a little ground ball back to the pitcher. So when you're looking at him, 2 for 20. Fitzgerald also has been struggling. You know, he took an 0 for 4 today with 3 punch outs. He went back down to AAA. He was hitting over 300 down there, but he's come up here and he's struggled. And the strikeouts are just mounting on both of those young players.
You know, I go out to the ballpark. I'm realistic. I don't expect them to win, but when you're at Oracle, you expect them to have that big advantage, or at least you know it's always been that. You get that advantage at Oracle, and every single game, like I said, it's like that Oracle aura doesn't seem to be doing anything.
They kind of lost it. They kind of lost it, Chef Kobe. They lost it. They were 12. Yeah, they were 12 and 14 games over 500 at one time when you looked at the month of June, and they just got swept. I mean, you go back to your last homestand, 0 for 6, and then today they lose their 7th game. They win 1 game last Friday, but then that was against the Nationals. They dropped 2 against them. They get swept by the Padres. And they got another game against Tampa Bay tomorrow, and they could get swept again by Tampa Bay if they don't come back and with some kind of fight tomorrow.
Yeah. I went to a game. I went to the Mets series, and then the Pirates series at home. That whole stretch of games was just horrible. But hey, real quick.
Sure.
I thought that when Dom Smith, when he came over, he has outfield experience, does he not?
Yes, he does. That's where mostly he played in the outfield. Played
I was
outfield
always
as well as
thinking
first
why
base.
they need to do something. They need to shuffle something up. So, has they ever come up in conversation of Dom Smith being our right fielder, and then like platooning Devers and Wilmer at first, and that would give us another bat in there.
Well, you've been seeing Dom Smith DHing, and they've been flip-flopping Devers and him at first base. When you look at Dominic Smith, he's one of the best first basemen that they have on the defensive side. Of course, Devers made a couple nice plays today. They're trying to push him to play first base, and it opens up the DH. Wilmer Flores still has a hamstring issue. He isn't 100%, but again, coming off the bench, he's probably your best pinch hitter. Today was just a tough at-bat against Fairbanks. Once that base hit was hit by Jung-Hoo Lee, he punched out the side after that, and he's nasty. He's got that 98-mile-an-hour fastball and that 12-6 curveball, and you just can't hold up on the curveball. It's so quick, and the break is so fast, and that's what makes him a good closer.
Yeah, it's nice seeing Jung-Ho getting the barrel on the ball. I agree with you, though. I really would love to see him lead off, shuffle it up a bit. They keep putting up the same thing, and obviously we're getting the same results. So
you're
anyway,
absolutely right, Chef. You're really good. But thanks for the call tonight. Really appreciate your call and coming from the game today. And Chef, is the same thing as what I've been talking about. You got Ramos and Devers at 1 and 2, and they're supposed to be your best hitters. Ramos is hitting 265. Devers is hitting 255. And I talk about what happened last night. They had both had 10 at-bats. 7 times they struck out. Today, they had 8 at-bats, and they struck out 5 times. So that first and second hitter needs to change. They need to get something up there to put the ball in play and see if they can get on base. And maybe they push everybody down one. But I think it has to happen. When you look at Jung-Hoo Lee.
I'm still really hopeful. The analogy I can think of is when like a guy like Steph Curry is on a cold streak and can't seem to shoot the ball. You know what he does? He keeps shooting because we know that he's too gifted to just suddenly become a non-shooter. And I feel like that with Devers. A guy like him just doesn't become a bad hitter.
Right. And he's got to put the ball in play, though. I think all Giants fans are tired of the strikeouts and the frustrated looks that he gives, after he strikes out. Some of the pitches are out of the zone. Sometimes they're just throwing them all off speed. But the other day, they're throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. They're throwing it by him. But we'll find out, Chef. But thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to Brian in Modesto. Brian, you're on with an extra inning post-game show on a Saturday night. A frustrating a loss again for the Giants as the Rays win 2-1.
Hey, Bill. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate the call.
I remember Bob Melvin saying the Giants played with pride when we beat Atlanta in Atlanta, and that pride lasted 2 games.
Yeah, you're right.
It lasted 2 games. And I'm going to speak for every fan who's listening, every fan who's watching on TV, going to the ball game. This offense is an embarrassment. It is an absolute embarrassment. And Buster, if you're listening, starting next year, we must never, ever, as fans, ever be embarrassed like this again. When you've got
they got to put the ball in play. I think that's what it is, Brian. And you keep hearing about it. Put the ball in play. Things happen. We've talked about this, Brian, many times on the show. And, the analytics this week are telling me, I'm reading them, and even Bob Melvin talked about it, is this team can't hit a cross-seam fastball. And they can be telling them what's coming. They're swinging through it, and we saw it again today. We saw it again yesterday with Joe Boyle throwing 98 to 100 cross-seamers, and he's throwing them right by him. Same thing with Fairbanks. Same thing with Baker. Same thing with Uceta. They're throwing fastballs. Sure, they may be moving a little bit, but they're not making contact with them. 14 strikeouts today, Brian. 14 with 1 walk. That tells you a lot.
Well, that makes for a very easy scouting report. Throw a fastball, they'll miss.
Yeah, I think I think that's what's coming to fashion with it. teams are going out there. Hugh Darvish did it. Hugh Darvish had 7 different pitches, and Hugh Darvish threw more fastballs in that game where he proceeded to pitch 6-7 innings than he's ever pitched before. So the analytics from other teams are seeing it. So why wouldn't you make your scouting report saying throw fastballs until they hit it? That's what I would do if I knew that.
Well, here's what I know. I know 2 things. Number 1, Burrell's hot seat and Melvin's seat are getting hotter all the time.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to tell you, Brian, I sat down with Pat Burrell this week, and we had a conversation. You'll hear it tomorrow on the postgame show. You're going to learn a little bit about Pat Burrell and the struggles that he's going through with hitters. You're going to hear a little bit more about him and some of the questions I throw at him. So tomorrow, make sure you listen to the postgame show, as I did talk to Pat Burrell for a while, and you're going to hear it tomorrow.
Okay, but we as fans, we care about winning. We don't care about how the hitting instructor feels. We don't care how the manager feels. We don't care about how the players feel. We don't care about how the players wear it. We don't care about the quiet clubhouse. We care about entertaining baseball. We care about winning. That's what we care about.
I agree.
I
agree. Don't get me wrong. I'm right there with you. Wins, W-I-N-S. Let's try one. Let's get one win before we start looking at wins. And I think tomorrow has to be that day. I thought today was. Justin Verlander went out there and did exactly what a starting pitcher is supposed to do, to be that stopper. But they just couldn't pull it out for him. Brian, thanks for the call. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Let's go to Rich in San Diego. Rich, you're on an extra inning post-game show on a Saturday evening. How are you down in San Diego?
I'm okay. I didn't talk to you yet this year. I talked to you several times last year, and I always appreciate your show. I always listen to it. I have 3 out-of-the-box questions for you. These are really out of the box. First, I would talk to Justin Verlander, get his permission. I would talk to other playoff teams, and if Justin okayed this, other playoff teams, some of them are interested. I put him on the DFA, so some playoff team could pick him up. He could have his chance in the playoffs again. Giants get some sort of trade guy out of it. Giants are able to use their young pitchers. What do you think?
That's a good reason. I mean, he could easily do it, but again, at the trade deadline, there wasn't many teams inquiring about him. Of course, the numbers since the All-Star break, he's pitched so much better. Going only 5 innings. 5 innings today is the most he's went, going 7 innings, throwing 88 pitches. I still felt that he could have gone out there in the 8th inning. That's why I researched how many pitches he threw in the last 3 starts, 101, 194. That's why I was a little comprehensive in my brain going, why isn't he going back out there in the 8th inning? And he had 7, 8, 9 up. So in the post-game remarks, I've been reading partial of it. He said he felt fine. So somebody made that decision in going to Jose Butto. If I'm Justin Verlander, I would like to know why. Why did you do that? Why didn't you come to me? Or if they did come to him and he said, I can still go, because the pitch count is something they look at. And if the pitch count for 5 innings is 101 pitches, and that's what he was in Pittsburgh and Washington, why can't you do 101 going into the 8th inning or 9th inning? I'm sure that's what he wanted to do. I know he would have loved to have gone out there and had a 1-0 win, a nice shutout, because he was right on that forecast doing it, especially when you're looking at the pitch count. 9 pitches in the 5th, 8 pitches in the 6th, 9 pitches in the 7th. You're pitching under 10 pitches, and you're going through the middle part of the game. I still wish they would have pushed him in the 8th.
Now, my other 2 things are really old school. They're sort of Billy Martin type things. Would you ever put Bailey back in for Kisner during an inning and late in the game if there's a fast runner on at first? This happened today a couple of times, once in the 8th, once in the 9th, when I was thinking I would do that. Nothing bad happens, it turns out. But that's like old school. It's sort of embarrassing for Kisner if you do that, but still it could save you a run. Would that ever be considered nowadays?
Yeah, I think sometimes they do that. And Rich, they do that in a defensive purpose, especially in a 1-0 game in the scenario of that. But they kept Kisner in there the whole time. I don't know if Bailey was going to just get the day off today. He's been playing every game. You're absolutely right. Sometimes they do that for that defensive purpose of throwing a runner out. Today they didn't do it. Kisner ended up giving up a couple of stolen bases. He is your backup catcher. You got to give him some opportunities, and but you're absolutely right. They do that.
And one more thing. This happened a couple of weeks ago, but I would have. This is just definitely going Martin style. I would have taken Ramos out of the game when he did that running mistake with the infield fly rule. Sat him down, asked him if he knew all about the infield fly rule, and see what he knew about it, and keep him out the rest of the game to teach him about the infield fly rule. Is that appropriate nowadays? With
they usually don't do that. They usually, if anything, it's the next game where they sit them out. They usually don't do things like that for bad base running or a missed fly ball. They usually don't do things that they do in college or high school in those opportunities. At the big league level, they usually don't say much. They may come up and talk to them a little bit between innings, but the next day or that night, Bob Melvin will bring him in his office and they'll discuss it and talk about it. You have so many meetings going on in the clubhouse. Fans don't understand this. There is many meetings of preparation for the game and many meetings after the game when they look at video, and hitting instructors will talk about it. It's not like they go in and shower and go home. There's a lot of preparation for the next day and what they're doing. But right now, it's just everything is being magnified when you have a losing streak. So, and that's some of the things, Rich, what you're saying. A bad base running play, the infield fly rule, a bad, not hitting a cutoff. Those things need to improve on. Defense is a huge part in the Giants, but it's very seldom they pull a guy like that and put another player in.
And one more quick thing, like you were just talking before about McRae and Fitz, being really good in AAA, but not good in the MLB. I hope this is not going to happen to our other farm hitters that we're so hyped up about and so on.
Mm-hmm. You just don't know. The next step, it's AAA to the big leagues, is a bigger step. You got pitchers that can pinch a corner. Their breaking balls are sharper than guys in AAA because those guys in AAA are trying to get to the next step. And you may strike out, a pitcher may strike out 15 guys in AAA and come up here and only strike out one or two. There is a different animal. There's a different beast from AAA to the big leagues. It's how you adjust to it and how you make one at bat, try to make better the next. What's happening is McRae isn't playing that much down there. He was playing every day, so you're getting 20 to 30 at bats during the week. You can play with more at bats. You can see the ball more. You see the spin more. It's difficult sitting on that bench where you don't even get an at bat, and the next day you're in. And today was that same thing with Grant McRae. He just can't pick up the ball. It's swinging right through it. He punches out 2 out of 3 times, and it's just tough for young players. It's really tough to come up and try to make a mark for yourself at the big league level when you did so well in AAA, and he did. He was hitting 265 in AAA. Some things are just difficult at the big league level. But, Rich, great questions today. I really appreciate your call. And once again, thanks for calling in. Let's go to Jerry. He's in Napa. Jerry, you're on an extra inning postgame show with Bill Lasky. Giants lose a tough one. What's the forecast in your eyes for the Giants?
Well, I'm still hopeful, but I agree with you 100%. They should have put Verlander in there in the 8th inning to see what he could do. If he walked the first guy or gave up a hit right away, then you bring the bullpen.
Yeah.
But
I just want to hear the comments on that. I have not heard it. I've been following the post game, and I just have not heard what Bob Melvin said. And if he took him out, and somebody sent me a note that Justin Verlander said he was fine. So there has to be some kind of conclusion here. I have not heard that yet. So I'm hearing it through a third source. So I don't know if that's true or not.
Verlander said in the interview after he was good to go. So I don't know why Melvin did what he did, but he did it. And he's
88 pitches, and that's
really
one of my friends. One of my friends texted me and said, "Why did he come out? Is 88 pitches a lot?" And I just said, "Hold on here." And I went to the game logs. That's why I've been saying it. The last 3 games in the game logs: 101, 100, 94, 98.
Yeah.
So Jerry, you and I are on the same page. Go out in the 8th inning. You might have another 9-pitch inning, and you may go into the 9th inning with that 1-0, lead. So you change the complexity of the game by going to the bullpen. It's not Tyler Rogers and Camilo Duvall down there anymore.
Yeah,
so
we
Jose
Tyler Rogers,
Budo now is your 8th guy.
Rogers sending him out really hurt us. Our bullpen's weaker than it was now. But,
I think what's happening here, Jerry, is who's pitching the 7th and 8th inning, who's pitching those middle innings to get to the closer, and Is Randy Rodriguez ready to be a closer? That's going to be the next question mark.
I don't think so. I think he's too young yet. I don't think he's ready.
Yep.
He showed the last couple of games he's really been. But he hadn't pitched for quite a while the other day. You know, you got to kind of cut him a little bit of slack.
9 days,
yeah,
but
that's
that
a long
slider
time.
that he hit, man, he just didn't pull the slider through. And I said that earlier, Jerry, and I know you've heard me before. When you get in these tight situations with some young pitchers, they try to aim the ball instead of throwing it. And when you aim it, it comes out of your hand differently. The spin comes out. That's what happened to Jose Butto. The first slider he threw hit the hitter. After he gets fastball, fly ball, 2 outs on 2 pitches, then he gets a first pitch strike, and then he goes to the slider, slips right out of a hand, and it's a hit by pitch. So it's difficult for young pitchers to try to overcome that.
I realize he's a young pitcher. I didn't know that. I thought he was more seasoned than he is. But that other guy, I don't care for him much. Cage or whatever his name is. I don't.
Gage, Matt
Yeah,
Gage, the lefty.
Yeah, I don't.
He's been pitching
there's a
good.
reason
He's
why
been giving
people
up hits.
Let him go.
Yeah, when runners are in scoring position, he's been giving up that hit, and it's a lot about it with the slider up, and they're going the opposite way against lefties. They've been punching that hole, the 5.5 hole on that slider up for base hits countless times in the last few games, and then he comes in and gets that out. But he gives up that run that he comes in for, and that's what hurts him. And today he did it again.
Today we had 3 automatic outs in the lineup. Poor McRae, and Fitzgerald looks lost. I mean, he looks like a deer in the headlights. I don't know what's going on with him.
He's not swinging well at all. He's not even making good contact. Nothing.
No, and Kinzer, I'm sorry, he's awful. He's a nice guy.
Well, he's a backup
he
catcher.
Can't throw the
he's
ball.
a backup catcher, and I think that's one of the things they're going to have to really look into. But he's a defensive catcher, and that's what you have. And you also have that in Patrick Bailey, Jerry. You don't have a lot of hitters as catchers. And a catching position, there's just not many out there that you can trade for or look for. They have to somehow find a better catching solution for next year.
Right. What about I think since Devers has moved to first base, it's hurt his hitting. I think he was doing better when he was the DH. I think playing on the field
he wants to
hurt
play.
his hitting.
Yeah, that's the outlook from some of the writers that he wants to be back on the field. Made a nice play today by going from first to third and getting Kim.
Dominic
that was a
Smith's one of the best first basemen I've ever seen.
Oh, I'm right there with you, Jerry.
Man, he's something.
And just the way he throws to the pitchers covering first base, it's like a quarterback throwing to a wide receiver. He leads them perfectly. Fantastic first baseman, and they better hold on to him because he has been hitting the ball very well. When you look at what Dominic Smith's been, 17 out of 18 games he's been on base. And today, again, a nice base hit and a walk. He was on 2 times out of 4 at-bats. He's made a mainstay, and he's really calm at a batter. He's not swinging hard, trying to put the ball in play. I wish more hitters would look at him and how he does it.
Like the 9th inning yesterday. What the hell was Adames doing? He's trying to hit a home run. He's selfish. Just get a base hit, for Christ's sake. If he got a base hit, he would have tied the game. But he's trying to swing for the fences. Same thing with Fitzgerald. He just swinging for the
These
fences.
guys do that, and that's
up.
just the way they're – but, Jerry, that's the way that they're teaching hitting now. They don't teach choking up and going the opposite way. I just would like to see an opposite field hit once in a while. Just wait till the ball comes in a little deeper and then go the opposite way.
I don't like Pat Burrell's approach to hitting at all. I don't like this team.
Well, decisions will be made, and decisions are going to be made on a lot of different things. And once this team continues to go south, they're going to have to change some philosophies and how they approach hitters and defense. Don't forget, defense has not played that well either. So they're going to have to refine a couple things, and they're going to see what they can do here. But they got to finish out 39 games, Jerry, and let's see if they're going to do anything in the positive role. But let's hope they get a win tomorrow, because one win will break this losing streak. But, Jerry, it's always great catching up with you once again. Thanks, Jerry, for your call. All right, we're going to take a quick break on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. More calls coming in, and also a Blade Tidwell interview later in the show. I'm Bill Lasky. This is the Extra Inning Postgame Show. More coming up right here on the Sports Leader. Did you ever think you could become a big league baseball player? Well, now you can. Come to Big League Coaching Fantasy Camp. It's January 11th through January 17th, 2026 in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. Our host hotel is the Marriott Suites for the week. Come play with the great coaches, Joe Youngblood, Shooty Babbitt, Tim Flannery, Scott Garrelts, Mark Davis. Go to bigleaguecoaching.org and sign up today. Become a big leaguer.
KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Lasky keeps the postgame rolling live right here.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM. The sports leader.
The pitch. Line drive, base hit, right center field. That will tie it up. The throw will go into second. So Gray scores. This is like a repeat of the ninth inning last night.
Was there any discussion about sending him out? Or?
No. Hey, look, he hadn't pitched 7 innings this year. And really, we have 2 out, nobody on really quickly in the 8th. And hitting the 9 guy, you know, and then it got a little out of control after that. But, look, I think he did his job.
It was your first time into the 7th. Just how did you feel, getting deeper into that game?
I mean, those games are easier than the 5 innings and 100 pitch games by far. So, felt great.
Back on the Extra Inning post-game show, you heard from Bob Melvin. You also heard from Justin Verlander. And as an old pitcher like I am, back in the 80s and 90s, you go till you end. And I think he could have gone out there in the 8th inning. And there was times I was just talking to my producer, Jacob, and I was saying the pitching coach would come to you and say, if one guy gets on, you're out of the game, but give it your best to try to finish it. And if you're talking about a pitcher that throws 100 pitches, and that's pretty much the count that they look at, 100, 110 pitches. Of course, Logan Webb and Robbie Ray's gone a little longer, but they've gone deeper into games. You can't look at innings if you're looking at pitches. If you're looking at pitches and it's 100 pitches, then it's 100 pitches. So he was at 88 after 7. He had the 7th, 8th, and 9th hitter coming up. Give him a chance. Who knows? He had 9, 8, and 9 pitches for 3 innings. Give him an opportunity to finish that game. I don't look at – if you're going to look at pitches, then you got to look at pitches. If you're going to look at innings, it's totally different. So Bob Melvin said he did his job. He went to the bullpen, got the first 2 guys out, and then, of course, the hit by pitch and then 3 straight base hits. A question mark comes into it. It really does. And as Justin Verlander, he pitched one hell of a game. I think Bob Melvin wanted him to go off the field like that, and I think that was the decision that was made. For me, I'm old school. Give me the ball until I mess up. Give me the ball. I got a 1-0 lead. I want the ball until I get a runner on. My thoughts, my opinion. All right, let's go to Ben in Sacramento. Ben, you're on Extra Innings with Bill Lasky. How are you this evening?
Hi, Bill. It's good to be on Extra Innings tonight. I wish it was under better circumstances with these Giants.
Me too, Ben. Me too. I'm tired of talking about losing. I want to win. I want to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And this home stretch, I saw a graphic on NBC Bay Area that said that this home stretch hadn't been this bad since 1901. And
yeah, they
just
tied
to give you a bit of a And just to give you a bit of a historical tidbit, that was before Theodore Roosevelt was even president. So, you know, that
did
just
they even keep statistics back then? That's my question.
You know?
1901, you'd think they would. The statistics of home games and wins and losses, it surprises me.
Absolutely, and you know, I've had some time to think about this, watching the many losses that have just been disappointing. You know, trading core guys away that have been Giants for most of, if not the entire decade, like Duvall, Yastrzemski, and Tyler Rogers. And Yastrzemski's was your everyday right fielder for the most part, and he'd been a Giant for quite some time, about 5 seasons,
7 years,
something like that.
7 years he's been
yeah,
there. Yeah, 7 years.
7 years. Yes. Time definitely flies on with that. And you know, trading away guys like that has to mess with players' heads and the team chemistry in ways that I think only current and former ball players can truly understand. I mean, you can certainly understand like how it is to lose, you know, a couple, you know, guys in the clubhouse and the dugout, you know, for whatever reason, like they get traded away or they just get hurt. But
I think, Ben, what you said, there were core guys. There were core guys that got along with everybody.
Yes.
There were core guys that people hung around with. There were core guys as friends and off-season friends. And Mike Yastrzemski, a stellar guy on and off the field. Tyler Rogers, the same thing. Camilo Duvall was a Latin player I really didn't get to know because he only spoke Spanish, so he would be around the Latin players. But still, he was liked in the clubhouse. But I think what happened was there was so many teams trying to build their bullpens, and the Giants had the #1 bullpen for a long time going into the month of June. I think what happened was Buster Posey had a lot of opportunities to move a couple. Tyler Rogers will be a free agent at the end of this year. Camilo Duvall's got 2 more years of arbitration. Mike Yastrzemski, maybe what they were trying to do is clear out a path to see if the Grant McCrae's is a possibility to be coming up, or even when you look at some of the new players, Drew Gilbert, they have to see what's next, and I don't think Mike Yastrzemski was in their plans.
Yes, and you know, with all that being said, I agree with you on that, Bill. We can't forget that they put themselves in this position by playing so
Correct.
bad. They essentially
Good point.
forced Buster Posey's hand to, you know, trade guys that even though that they had been Giants for quite a while and they were core guys, they just, you know, based on how this this team is doing right now, which is the most important thing, you know, the present moment, day by day in baseball.
It's true, Ben.
Just,
and you know,
yes,
when you
it's
heard Buster
absolutely
Posey say that, and you heard Matt Chapman say, and you heard Logan Webb say it, is we put ourselves in this position. We wanted to keep winning so they could add some pieces to what we had, because they felt that that team in the clubhouse were a team that they could bond and win. By losing so much, it turned a tide where Buster had to be a seller. Even though he got some good parts for the minor leagues and some great players, it wasn't exactly what the big players wanted. The Matt Chapmans, the Logan Webbs, they wanted some additions to bolster their team. But you put it right, Ben. They put themselves in that position themselves.
Absolutely. And to kind of, pick up on that, it's just, I think one of the most common, some of the most common themes this season is that Logan Webb, Justin Verlander, just both, grade A pitchers. One's a for sure future Hall of Famer. One is, one of the best. The other's one of the best pitchers in today's game. And it's just really sad to see them just get.
You got to add Robbie Ray in there too, Ben. You got to add the lefty in there. Robbie Ray has been pitching sensational, losing 1-0 games, 2 or 3 of them. So I think all three of those guys,
right.
And even Landon Roop. Landon Roop was pitching fantastic. He was one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball in the month of June and July, and then he comes down with an elbow injury. And yesterday he wasn't 100%. You could tell, and the velocity went down. I think he was trying to push himself and being that competitor. But you do have some good, solid arms in the rotation for next year. But you probably won't see Justin Verlander here unless he takes a big, big dump on his salary. There's no way they're going to pay him $15 million again. And would you bring him back at 43 years old? A big question mark there.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that, it's the entire pitching staff has definitely suffered from some kind of bad luck, whether it's just not getting enough run support, or maybe they just have like one bad inning out of many, and that just so happened to be
just like a bad couple of hitters. Ben, a couple bad hitters, a hit by pitch, and then a base hit, and next thing you know, you're in a stretch. That's what happened today with Jose Butto. He gets the first 2 guys out on 2 pitches, and then next thing you know, it's a stress inning. And what happens after that? A couple base hits, 3 base hits, and they end up losing. That's the tough part of being out of the bullpen. I was a starting pitcher as well as out of the bullpen. When you give up massive runs, 2 or 3 runs, it takes you a while to get your run average down. But, Ben, you're on the right page, buddy. You definitely are understanding the game, and I really appreciate your time today. And call in more. Love to talk more baseball with you, Ben. Thanks for the call. Let's go to Connor. He's in San Mateo. Connor, you're on Extra Innings. Giants lose a tough one 2-1. They're now 59-64. What do you see the outlook with the San Francisco Giants?
Hey, how you guys doing? I don't really have any major takes because I just have I'm just so disappointed in this team. I just have 2 major questions. I'll give it with the first one. I personally think Melvin will be fired pretty soon, but do you think he'll be fired anytime soon or this year at all?
In my thoughts, in my opinion, no. I really don't think so. I think the working relationship that Bob Melvin and Buster Posey has, as well as the coaching staff, the team likes him. The players like him. They respect him. Of course, when you lose like this in any business, you look at the president of the company, you look at the manager. When you look at teams, when they do fire managers or head coaches, it's usually something that is got a wall between it, something that they're disagreeing with. What's happening with Buster Posey and Bob Melvin, they're taking a lot of heat right now, which they should. They're 59-64. My opinion is my opinion, though, Connor. What is yours? Do you think Bob Melvin will get fired?
I don't know. It's tough because he's lost a lot, but I mean, you are right. There's no disagreeing going on, but I don't know. It's just they've lost 15 or what was the stat? 15 of their last
15 out of 16 at home. But then the other question, Connor, is who's next? Who's the next leader in that clubhouse? Who's the next guy that they can hire? And then you'd hire a whole new coaching staff. And then the next thing you do is you're looking at a whole new coaching staff with a manager for next year. And you got some core guys here that really like Bob Melvin, Matt Chapman being one. That's one of the reasons why he signed an extension. You look at Willie Adames. Willie Adames is a guy that could help this team. This year he's struggling from coming from the Milwaukee Brewers. I look at some of these players, and yeah, I'm not making excuses for them, but sometimes it is difficult to come to a new organization and perform like you can. I don't want to sound like that guy that's making complaints about certain players. They are not playing up to their standards. They are not playing in focus like I'd like to see them. But in the long run, I just don't think there's going to be moves like that.
Yeah, and then I have one more thing to ask. They're not going to fire Posey. They're not going to fire Posey in this position.
No,
but
no.
Yeah, no. But if you think this was Farhan, do you think he would be gone immediately if they were like this?
No, because Farhan was here 6 years. Don't forget that. Farhan was 6 years. He only won 1 year. He had 107 wins. Look at how many losses. They were under 500 in many of those years. There was a lot of turmoil with Farhan being here. There was so much turmoil with players and nobody knowing what the hell was going on. So many players walking in and out of the clubhouse. It was a different style that Farhan and Gabe Kapler did by using analytics to coach a team, analytics to make a lineup, analytics to pitch. And they were trying to change the game the way analytics wanted them to, and it just didn't work out. And after a while, it got so stale that players really didn't want to play for him.
Yeah, totally true.
Connor, thanks for the call. I appreciate your time. Let's go to Cam. He's in Oakland. Cam, you're on an extra inning post-game show. Tell me your thoughts tonight.
Bill, what's going on? Thanks so much for taking my call. I wish, again, this was just under different circumstances,
I agree with you. And sitting in my seat here after losses, and, there's sometimes I got frustrated. And last Sunday I got frustrated and had a rant, but everything I said was true blue, and it came from my heart. Now I'm sitting here in a 2-1 loss, and I'm disappointed, just like Giants fans. I just don't understand how these guys cannot win a game. With an outing that Verlander had, some key hits, they just couldn't score more runs.
And I'm right there with you, Bill. It's sad to say this, but I've been to 10 of these last 16 games. I was there when they won, and the energy was great. I feel like we had some momentum, and then it just kind of I'm telling you, I don't know how many.
It's kind of faded away, didn't it, Cam? It's kind of what happened to it?
How many more BART rides can I take in silence to convince myself to come back to Oracle Park for just the same stuff? I mean, look, there's a lot of stuff that I wish to get into. I got into it with Copes and Depop on Dirty Work, but it's more. We need to have a conversation about Wilmer Flores. I don't think he's him. I don't think he's the guy that Bob Melvin wants him to be in that moment. I love the fact that Christian Koss is coming up big. I love that Jung Hoo Lee has figured out how to hit Oppo, how to just get the
right
ball
there
in
with
play.
you.
I feel like that's been another thing for us. But I mean, what really grinds my gears, Bill, is we have $697 million of contract that's not producing.
Right. I know. I was talking about that the other night on Sports Phone. I was talking about all the money that's being played and paid to these guys, and they're coming up there, and the focus from one bat to another, there's no adjustments. It's swinging as hard as I can, and the swing pass. And I haven't really been picking on Ramos but Devers, but the last two games I'm watching both of these at number 1 and 2 in your lineup, and they're supposed to be the heart of your lineup, and he's got them up at the top of the lineup. They strike out 7 out of 10 times yesterday, and today 5 out of 8 times. That to me is not a good, how you can say, a concentration of two of the best hitters in this lineup. And you got to put the ball in play and see what happens, and they're just not doing it. And I'm sure you've heard me, Cam, they're one of the worst teams to hit a straight fastball, a cross-seam fastball, and they're swinging right through it.
It's unbelievable. I mean, how many of these calls have you fielded where we're just at a loss of words? If we're hanging sliders over the plate, Justin Verlander, love him. That goes back to my days living in Houston. Out myself like that, but
today he didn't.
I don't know why.
Right? Today, Cam, he didn't. Today he was remarkable when he had 8 punch-outs. Today was the old Verlander.
Yes, I saw Detroit Tiger, Houston Astro, Verlander tonight.
Yes,
I saw
I was
what
right there.
I saw the future Hall of Famer Verlander tonight. But again, we go back to this run support, and that just has to weigh on him too, man. He just hit 35.
It's got to be bugging him 6 times. 6 times, Cam, he's gone out of the game with a lead, and those are all wins for him. 6 times the bullpen just flushed it after he got it out of the game. Today, I just questioned the 88 pitches going out there in the 8th inning. Give me the ball. I want to win this game kind of attitude. I just don't know what happened. Bob Melvin said he pitched the best he could for 7 innings. He went to the bullpen. Justin Verlander on the side said, I'm okay. I could have probably went out there. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. But at the same time, for the 7 innings that he did perform, he was brilliant.
I tell you, Dusty had faith in Verlander. Even if he got one on, he knew that he would get him out. And I just don't feel that same connection with Bomel and Verlander.
Yeah.
And then you talk about the front office moves of the bullpen, and what is that telling your starting pitching? Hey,
it's tough, and they're trying to find that guy. Cam, they lost to Tyler Rogers in that 8th inning, Cam. They lost that guy in the 8th inning that was so brilliant and so solid and so consistent. Now they're trying to find that with maybe a Jose Butto, but Butto's only been in the big leagues a couple of years. So the stress and the pressure is totally different for this kid. Same thing with Randy Rodriguez. He's a young pitcher that now is the closer, and it's a whole different animal. It's a whole different beast in those innings. Fans see it, fans understand it, but until you're out there gripping that baseball and trying to put that ball where you want it, sometimes it's not that easy. And these guys as young pitchers are learning it, but on the learning side, they're not doing as well as you think they can.
It just feels like for me the pitching, it was that game where Birdsong intentionally hit. I forgot who it was against. But it feels
I
like
remember that.
That moment was the slide. That was the slide. That had to be
went backwards.
Man, that had to be in May, June. And
it was probably in June. It was the latter part of June because guys were getting drilled left and right, and he drilled a guy in the first inning, and the next thing you know, it was a 3-run home run, and everything kind of slided from there. And you just can't do that with a young pitcher. Sure, he's trying to be the big boy. I can do this. I can handle it. But if you haven't done it, you don't know what to do. And in the minor leagues and the big leagues, it's totally different back when I played compared to how they pitch now. You don't do it as much as we did back then. You protected your own, and it didn't matter who was up there, you protect your own. And this way of baseball, you don't do that. You get thrown out of the game, you get warnings, you get fined. But, Cam, it's different, but you're right in so many factors that you're throwing out, and I really do appreciate the call with some of the information you threw out. But, Cam, have a great night. Let's go to Elvie. She's in West Sacramento. Elvie, you're on extra innings on a Saturday. A tough game, but the Giants will come back tomorrow with Logan Webb.
Next.
Are you there? Are you there, Elvie?
Yes. Hi, good evening, Mr. Bill. Yeah, thanks for
How are you tonight?
getting my call. Anyway, well,
good.
I'm
Thanks
just
for holding on.
finishing up my job. Anyway, look, this is my comment, my feedback. You mentioned something about why is it all the players are so good and there's something happened. I think the effect of this, the mental effect of trading good pitchers during the time, and then they paid this very expensive $331 million slugger that is not performing. So I've mentioned something that it seems like he is a jinx. Okay, can you please tell
a jinx, huh? You think he's a jinx, right, Elvie? Elvie, hold on, Elvie. You think he's a jinx?
No.
You think he changed it?
Well, Jinx. Okay, so this is what.
Okay.
Let us rewind. Let us start when you say change the philosophy just for one game, maybe tomorrow. Don't put Devers on the lineup. Don't let him play at all. Let him sit
Elvie,
down.
you're right. I mean, and he's played every game, Elvie. He's played every game. Maybe he sits out. Maybe you are right.
Let me finish. And then put Jong Hung Lee, the first one, and then put Elliot Ramos second, and then get Flores to be the third one, and then Casey, whatever, and that's it. And everybody has this mental side effect of losing their players to the other team. So let's do that. Can we just
Elvie, I love what you're saying, and I do agree with you, Elvie, and maybe Rafael Devers does need to sit one game out. He's played every game, every at-bat. I like your lineup completely. I like Jung-Hoo Lee leading off. I like Ramos second, and I like Flores batting third. So I like your lineup, Elvie, and maybe Bob Melvin's listening, and she's like, maybe Elvie's got a good point here. Maybe he'll change up. But I like what your philosophy is about changing it up, getting a different mental approach to the game, Elvie.
That's it. That's all. Thank you very much. God bless you. Bye.
Elvie, thank you so much for calling, and some good concept right there, and I appreciate it. Have a great night, Elvie, and I'm right there for her. I would love to see Jung-Hoo lead off tomorrow and maybe push everybody down. But, she made a great point. Maybe Rafael Devers needs to sit one game. Maybe he does need to sit down and take a day off. Maybe the mental part of the game, like Elvie said, maybe it's too much for him right now. Maybe the changeover from Boston to San Francisco, maybe a day off clears his head. Good point, Elvie, and I appreciate your point. Let's go to Barry. He's in Menlo Park. Barry, you're the last caller tonight. Barry, how are you?
Hi, Bill. Thanks for taking my call. First-time caller to your show.
Well, I want to thank you for holding on for me. There's been a lot of calls tonight. A lot of people have been holding on, and I appreciate all the callers holding on to talk. And it's a good night to talk baseball on a Saturday.
Yeah. My name is Barry, but I can never hit like Barry Bonds, by the way.
Well,
anyway,
at least you got the first name right?
Yeah, I'm with you. Got to get the first win tomorrow, and hopefully we can put this behind us. And I'm still faithful until they're mathematically eliminated.
I'm right there with you, Barry. I'm right there with you.
I'm kind of biased with Bob Melvin, is because I was a freshman when he was a senior at Menlo Atherton. So, anyways, always hope the best for him with the Giants, and hope the players.
This is a tough part, Barry. It's just tough. Once you, you're in his shoes and you see what's going on with the team, and it's frustrating. He doesn't sleep a lot. He's always thinking. He's very prepared in what he does. But every Giants fan, it just seems like when you keep losing, they want to take the manager and release him or cut him. And the point of it is I always say, who's next then? What's better?
Exactly. Who's going to replace him?
How do you change the clubhouse? The voice is the players like him. The players adore him, tell you the truth, and they respect him. So how do you change that? It's the players. I always say players and your coaches and your manager are second, but the players have to change this.
Sure. Yeah, he's a player's manager. He's a great baseball man. He's been around for a long time. Been around some great coaches all the way from Roger Craig and, even played for with the Detroit Tigers, in Baltimore.
He sure
back
did.
in the day. Yeah.
Sparky Anderson. He played for Sparky Anderson as a rookie.
Sparky. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I first saw you playing in '82 when I first started going to Giants games after high school.
Yeah, Bob Melvin and I were teammates. We were there teammates.
Right.
He was my catcher for 1 year, along with Brenly. They had good catchers, two good catchers too.
Yeah, I just thought it was a great formula, with Matt Williams at third and Burrell batting coach. I hope they can turn it around. They're still in it. They hope we can put this all behind us and start a win streak. 2 out of 3.
It sure would be magic, wouldn't it? Barry, it would be magical for 39 games left to get some hot streak, get a hot streak, go into San Diego and Milwaukee and take the series. It would be definitely a turnaround, and you just never know. But you said it, Barry. One win, get one win, and let's change the attitude.
Yes, sir. And thank you for taking my call. And the last one here was worth the wait.
Barry, thanks for calling, and please join more in. And I'm here on weekends and sometimes during the week, but I appreciate your time holding on, and I really appreciate your call.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
All right. You take what callers call in. I always listen, and I always try to get what you think and what you feel and how to change this losing streak. And it's remarkable how many fans, and I say this many times, I've been doing this for many years, Giants fans are very smart. Giants fans are very brilliant in baseball. They watch the game. They understand the game. They know the game. And you start thinking, well, maybe some of these things like Elvie said about changing the lineup, Maybe Rafael Devers needs a day off. Things like that make sense to me. Things like that, just like what Barry said, I'm not giving up. I'm a Giants fan until they're totally eliminated, and I'll still watch them. Because that's the heart of Giants fans. That's the love of the game, and that's the love of being a Giants fan. I played for the Giants. I work for the Giants. I analyze for KNBR, and I work these shows. But what I see and what I hear and what I talk about is Giants fans and how much they love this team and how much we all want them to succeed. But we start tomorrow. Today's over. You got to start again tomorrow. And Logan Webb's got to be that fierce competitor that we know he is. And this offense has to give him some runs. This offense needs to break out. And let's just hope that happens. Let's just hope this thing changes tomorrow and the Giants get a win and a 9-game homestand. And it's been a brilliant first game, but the last 7 games have not been so brilliant. So tomorrow, let's see if that changes. Let's see if they can win tomorrow and go on this home road trip. And they're playing some tough competitors, no question. The Dodgers beat the Padres 2 straight games in L.A. They have 1 more tomorrow with San Diego, and San Diego's right in the hunt. So the Giants could do some damage in San Diego. These are the last 4 games they play the Padres in the 2025 season. But tomorrow we have to bring that energy. Giant fans got to come back out there and cheer their hearts out because we're going to see if Logan Webb puts 7 zeros on the board and maybe more, just like what Justin Verlander did. All right, coming up next, Blade Tidwell, a young pitcher that got traded over in the Tyler Rogers deal. He's been pitching brilliantly in Sacramento. 3 games. He's got a 1.69 earned run average. And I had an opportunity this week to meet him, to understand who he is, to learn a little bit more about Blade Tidwell. And I'm bringing that to you, Giants fans. So you're going to meet a young Blade Tidwell, a right-hander that's throwing the heart out of the ball. And boy, he's bringing it 98, 99, and 100. You never know. He might be in an orange and black uniform before the season's over. But I really believe Buster Posey got a good right-hander from the Mets. He's coming up next, Blade Tidwell, right here on the Extra Inning Postgame Show on KNBR, the sports leader.
Bill is back.
Fired up, bringing it, all excited.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Lasky.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Listen on your Google Home smart speaker by saying play KNBR.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Lasky. My guest was traded over for Tyler Rogers along with Jose Bucco and Drew Gilbert. Let's welcome in Blade Tidwell. Blade, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining me and introducing yourself to the Giants Nation. How has it been with the trade? And things change, of course, but this is a good route for you, I believe.
Yeah, I do too. The Giants have made it really smooth with the transition, and everything's went well so far, and all the guys are cool and welcoming, so it's been nice.
Well, your first start as a River Cat, you did extremely well. 5 innings, 4 hits, 9 punch-outs, 2 walks. The fastball was pretty high velocity, a good slider, and a curveball. Is that your 3 picks, Mitch?
I have the 4-seam and the 2-seam, like a gyro bullet slider and sweeper, and then changeup.
So everything was working that day. A new uniform, new way of throwing, but it's the same thing you're pitching.
Oh yeah, the heat's just a little bit drier here.
Yeah, especially for coming from Syracuse. Now you're out here in Sacramento. A little warmer also, I would believe.
It's a little warmer, but I don't think I sweat quite as bad.
Well, let's go back in time. You grew up in Loretto, Tennessee. You went to Loretto High School. Where is Loretto, Tennessee?
It's on the Alabama state line in Middle Tennessee, about 2.5 hours south of Nashville.
Okay. Blade Tidwell joined me on the Extra Inning post-game show. You ended up playing baseball there, and Ryan Weathers was also a big league pitcher. Someone else that you could confine in and talking baseball with. Was he kind of an institution more or less helping you?
Yeah, and his dad, David Weathers, had 18 years in the bigs, and he was my coach.
That even helped you even better. Your junior year, outstanding year, 8-0, 107 strikeouts. But I got to ask you, 557 batting average. What position did you play, or were you the designated hitter?
I was shortstop.
Wow. So you have a lot of ability in you. Well, what did you like playing the infield? How'd you like it?
I loved it. I always thought growing up that I would be a position player, but I ended up started throwing really hard and stuck with pitching.
So tell me about this 557 batting average. You have power, or was it mostly all average?
Hit, I think, 8 home runs. So
that helps out. So Blade, let me go here. So your senior year, COVID hits. It's 2020, and you couldn't play baseball. What did you do for that spring?
I really, the gym's closed down and everything, so I just went to my uncle's, had a gym in his garage in the attic. No air, no AC or anything like that. Just worked out there.
Growing up, was there somebody you watched in Major League Baseball? Was there somebody that you wanted to emulate?
I always loved Mike Trout. I didn't really have a pitcher.
Mm-hmm. So you liked him. You loved his ability to play. What about pitching? Did you watch anybody as a pitcher?
Not until I got into pro ball did I start studying pitchers. But I like Zach Wheeler.
Very good combination there. When you watched Zach Wheeler and of course how you're pitching now, analytics always play a big part of the way you're pitching. What did you notice when you started looking at numbers after you signed going in to minor leagues?
I knew I had good stuff, but there was still some development to work on. But
velocity.
I actually faced off.
Velocity. Yeah.
I faced off against Zach Wheeler this year. It was pretty cool.
That had to be cool. 98, is that about the highest you've hit in velocity, or have you gone a little higher than that?
I think I've touched 100 before. I've been up to like 99.6 this year, maybe.
A big number right there, Blade. Now, after high school, you ended up going to Tennessee, and as a freshman, you jumped right into the rotation. Were you ready for that, of being young, coming out of high school?
Um, yeah, I've always been raised to be a competitor and going out there and competing freshman year. It was a shift for sure, but I loved it.
What were some of the players or even a pitching coach that kind of developed you when you got to Tennessee?
We had Frank Anderson. He was great. The staff, you go through the fall, it's pretty hard going through the fall as a freshman, but once you get through that, you feel like you can take on anything, and then with the coaches and everything there, it's pretty easy to fit in.
Well, your freshman year, 18 games, 10-3, 3.7 earned run average, punching out 90 and 98 innings. When did you start developing the slurve or the slider, as you call it? When were those secondary pitches kick in for you?
I'd say the freshman year, I was mostly just four seam, slider, and curveball.
Good break
And
and a curveball, 12-6.
it was, yeah, trying to anyway.
Off speed pitch. When did you start developing the changeup?
I always had the changeup. It was more about confidence and throwing it. And I would say the next year is when everything in the repertoire started coming together.
What do you grip of the blade with the changeup? Is it the OK changeup? Is it a different type of grip you're using?
I just a four seam changeup grip, and I pronate it.
Very good. So you leave Tennessee, you get drafted by the New York Mets. Were you ready to go into pro ball? You got selected by the Mets pretty high. A good signing bonus, and everything started going well. When you signed that contract, did you know much about the New York Mets?
I did. Nathan Buster came to my house actually and sat down with me and Gilbert. He was visiting my hometown at the time and talked about the organization pretty in depth for about an hour.
So you sign at 21 years old. You go to St. Lucie. You start off in Florida League, pitching really well. You only threw 4 games. But then after that, then following year, you started moving up to AA, and then you ended up getting to AAA. What were some of the obstacles you had to go mentally and physically when you start moving up into minor leagues?
It's just a difference. All the guys are older, better approaches, more advanced. I would say I needed to get a little bit more advanced with game planning and things like that. And that was the next step for me going into the off season this past year, and I think I did that.
Blade Tidwell joining me on the Extra Inning Post-Game Show for a few more minutes. May 4th, 2025. You get the call up to go to the big leagues. Tell me how all that translated when you went into the manager's office, how they told you you're going to be a big leaguer.
I'm really close with the pitching coordinator, Eric Jaggers, over there for the Mets, and he FaceTimed me one morning and said I made some adjustments to your advance report for the hitters that you're going to face this week, and let me know when you get it. And then it was, you're going to the big leagues, kid.
That's great. How excited were you, and how excited were your family?
I was pumped. I've been waiting my whole life to do it, and it was just an awesome experience.
So
My
you
whole
get to
family
face
got
the
to come.
St. Louis Cardinals, your first outing. Pre-game anxiety, nerves. What were some of your thoughts warming up?
It was a noon game, so I didn't really have a lot of time to be nervous.
Mm-hmm. When you were warming up, were you throwing a little harder than normal, heart racing a little bit more?
No, I think what am I trying to say? I think I was didn't want to get overamped, so I didn't get aroused enough.
So you end up throwing against the Cardinals, you end up throwing to Pittsburgh, you end up getting a win against Milwaukee. Not the greatest numbers in the big leagues, but you were a big league pitcher. What did you learn from those experiences?
Just how to attack the hitters. The hitters are obviously better up there, and just going about my business and getting on a routine and just talking to some of the guys that have done it, like Clay Holmes. It was a great experience.
Well, Blade, defense is a huge part of being a major league pitcher, even in the minor leagues. Do you do a lot of PFP? Do you work on things like that?
Yeah, I would like to say I pride myself on being athletic out there on the mound. I'm a bigger guy, but I still can move a little bit.
Blade, what about base runners? Of course, at a big league level, you can only throw over twice. Runners are quicker. Runners are faster. They change patterns. Have you learned a little bit more about holding runners on?
I have. I usually just look at the runner while I'm out of the stretch, and then whenever he's not moving his feet, is when I usually pitch.
Blade, as we finish up here, you're in Sacramento. You got another start coming up. What are some of the things you're working on to make yourself a better pitcher?
Just flood the strike zone early. Um, like to just see if I can get through 7 every time out.
And that's a quality start, no question there. So when you're ready to go out to the game, what kind of music you listen to?
I like indie rock.
Okay. You just
I have
pump it
some,
up, put your headphones on and get psyched?
yeah, I have some open run headphones. I do some neuro stuff.
What about hobbies? What do you do away from the ballpark?
I have a puppy and a girlfriend that I live with. When she lets me, I like to play Fortnite.
What kind of dog do you have?
A Cavapoo.
Oh, beautiful. Well, that's something to run around with, and especially having your mate with you, it's always great to do that. What kind of food do you enjoy eating?
I like all foods, really.
You go
I
Italian
mostly eat
much? Do you go
steak.
steak much? What do you like to do? You're a Tennessee boy. You gotta love steak.
Yeah, I eat steak probably every day.
Well, Blade, it's continuing success for you and River Cats, and we're looking forward to get you back to the big leagues and putting on that Giants uniform. But I appreciate your time today.
I appreciate you.
That was Blade Tidwell on the Extra Inning Post Game Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
The game may be over, but we know you want to talk more ball. So KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Lasky continues.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
We are KNBR 104.5 and 6.8, the sports leader.
5 Verlander strikeouts, 0-2. Lau strikes out swinging. Verlander got him again. So he goes down swinging for the second time in 2 at-bats. A lot of swings and misses so far from Verlander. He wasn't lying when he was telling Susan Slusser, hey, my stuff is as good as it's been in years. He's got the good stuff going in this game.
All right, back on the extra inning post-game show as we close out a Saturday. The Giants end up losing 2-1, but as you heard Dave Fleming, Justin Verlander with the start of his career this year. 7 innings, 2 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts. He does get a no decision. Left the game with a 1-0 lead, and the Giants end up losing it by getting 2 runs in the top of the 8th inning, and the Tampa Bay Rays end up winning this game 2-1. Tomorrow, Logan Webb on the hill at 105, 10-9 with a 3.3 earned run average, going against Ryan Pepio, 8-9 with a 3.86. First pitch right here at 105 to see if the Giants can break this 7-game losing streak before they go on the road. I want to thank my guest today, Blade Tidwell. Of course, he is in Sacramento. Maybe we'll see him coming up as a big leaguer. He's got a lot of promise right now. He's had 3 starts for the River Cats with a 1.69 earned run average. If you missed that interview, you'll hear it on all KNBR podcasts later on tonight. Tomorrow, 2 great interviews. Thomas Gavello. You're probably saying, who is Thomas Gavello? Well, he's a local kid. He was born in Antioch. He grew up in Danville. He's now playing in Sacramento as a middle infielder and a third baseman, hitting over 340. Really having a good year for the Sacramento River Cats. Moved up in the organization pretty quick. I got to know him a little bit in my interview. And the biggest one tomorrow is I had to sit down with Pat Burrell. Pat Burrell, of course, is the hitting coach with the San Francisco Giants. We talk a lot about some of the things that the players are not doing, some of the things that he thinks they can improve on. And Pat Burrell tells the truth, and we're going to talk to him tomorrow. And that interview is going to be on the post-game show on Extra Innings. I have to thank my producer today, Jacob Violante. He started with me at 3 o'clock when we started the warm-up show. He's been going on from 3 o'clock to 11 o'clock. He produced the warm-up show with me for 3 hours, 3 to 6. He then produced the baseball game, the whole Giants game, the producer right here on KNBR. And then he just did another 2 hours with me with Extra Innings. I just want to compliment him for his professionalism and how he works here on KNBR. These producers work long hours, but I just want to commend Jacob Violante today and how much he's put in time right behind that board. For Bill Lasky, have a great night. We'll be right back on here tomorrow as Extra Inning post-game show follows up the Sunday game, and we'll have more coming up right here. So be well, be safe. Have a great rest of Saturday night. Come on more. KNBR's on next.